What's going on, traders? In this video, we're going to go over today's trading session. As you can see, we have a nice structure working higher and higher with a series of higher highs and higher lows. So this was the pre-market structure. As always, I start off by identifying the key levels, which is the low of day, which is this purple line, and the high of day, which is also this purple line. Now, usually when we're in a consolidation or a range, these levels both play a huge factor, and I use them as confirmation as a support or a resistance that turns into a support, or vice versa. But in this situation, we have a nice uptrend working higher, and we really don't test the level till later on during the day. So I start off by identifying the bottom pivot where the move started. So it started around here. So I drew it to geometrically fit within the structure. And as you can see, we have one, two confirmations that confirm this trend. And as this trend is working higher and higher and it's within this channel, what we're looking for is long opportunities only. The only time we pause looking to go long is when we break this channel and we go ahead and make a new high. So if you look here, we are nicely fitting into this channel, and I am only looking for long opportunities. Now, as you can see here, counting from this high, we have a new high, first entry long, right? This candle triggered, or the first candle that triggered before the previous one. We have a push lower, and we made a new low. Even though we're looking to go long, we have to make sure that the downtrends play out, even the short ones. So I have a short downtrend here. It broke out, and we made a new low. So now it's safe to look for a long position. What I usually like to look for is a push above EMA with a higher low, a candle that triggers lower than the previous one, traps the bears, and has a nice close above EMA. So as you can see, this happened here, and this was a trade that I took. You could even see it marked on the chart. My profit target was the high of days. So we pushed above EMA. We had a nice higher low that trapped the bears. And I entered right as soon as we triggered on top of the candle, and we had a nice runner. It it was for about 4 points, which is more than enough, especially if you're going more than one contract. Um, and as soon as we broke and we made a new high, you have to label it. And as I mentioned before, once the trend breaks and we make a new high, this is now an area of development. Two things can happen, or actually three things can happen. We can have a consolidation, a reversal, or a continuation. So we just pause and we look for the market, uh, or we look for the market's next move. So we had a new high here. Then we started kind of going sideways. The EMA, the 21 EMA, is a very good price line indicator, and it tells you really what's going on. Because as you can see, if we zoom out, we had a nice structure working higher, and the EMA is on top or below these candles, which shows that the buyers are in control. But once you see the EMA going into the middle of these candles like we do here, this is an area where you can start looking for a range. And a range is an area where the market is controlled. It's almost like the analogy I like to give is like it's a ping pong game where we're bouncing off the top, bottom. Now, this right here is called a no trade zone. This is an area where you don't want to enter. There is no type of direction whatsoever, and you just want to wait for either a breakout or a failed breakout. Um, but you just don't want to trade the middle of this. So as you can see, we ended up pushing higher, right? And this right here is actually a failed breakout. Well, why is it a failed breakout? Because price tried pushing higher, it failed, and it ended up pushing lower. But because the bias is bullish and we've been trading higher all day, we're not looking to go short. This is a good place to look at the resistance that we had that turned into a support. Once we break below the support strongly, then you can start looking for short positions. And that's why it's a good idea to watch the bottom of the support and look at the price reaction, because as you can see, when price came back down to it, it's holding. Um, the bulls are buying the dip and it's not failing. So we had a shortened trend line in play that had a break and a new low. And as you can see, slowly but surely, we had a continuation. Now, a lot of you guys might think, can I draw my trend line like this? Right? That's how initially people draw their trend lines. But mind you, we ended up having a spike in a channel. Well, how do we know that? As you can see, this channel is pointing up, more towards like a 90-degree angle, but as you can see here, the spike is going more sideways. Once you see a little bit of a sideways price action above the EMA and we're making higher highs and higher lows, this is an indicator that we have a spike in a channel. So I ended up drawing the spike in the channel. I was looking for a long position here, but nothing formed. And as I always do, I wait for the shortened corrections to play out. So we had a shortened channel here, we had a break, we had a new low, right? And now I was looking for a higher low above EMA, similar to the trade that we took earlier, but we didn't have one. This didn't even trigger lower than the previous candle. So in order for a higher low to work, it must trigger lower than the previous candle. It didn't, and we ended up breaking and making a new high. Once again, once the high is made and the trend plays out, we have to wait. This is an area of development. Then we started making a series of higher highs. Once again, I zoomed out looking for a wider alternative because once you're trending higher all day, it's best to look for a wider alternative. And I really couldn't fit one that fit good with many confirmations. Here, it's just not even including the price action on the right. If I drew it like this, we have no confirmations at the bottom and it's just angled weird. So I just went ahead and drew a new spike in a channel. This fits great. It aligns up with the EMA, and as you can see, EMA is below these the price action, which indicates bulls are in control. It fits with the trend line perfect. So I like this setup right here. Let me get rid of this stuff so you guys don't get confused. Okay. So now that this uptrend is in play, we are looking initially to take a long once again. We never had a really good correction here to take a long. Nothing really formed. We don't have any second entry longs. But finally here we started correcting stronger. We drew the mini correction. We had a break. We had a new low of it, right? We had a downtrend, break, new low. Now, counting from the high, we have a new high, first entry long, pullback. This is the second entry long here, right? Because we triggered lower than the previous candle and we ended up closing nice and bullish. Now, the issue is we are under the EMA. The EMA is our guideline, it's our friend. And if price is below the EMA, I usually do not take it 9 times out of 10 unless it's like a double trap or something. But in this scenario, we close below EMA, and you can even see we have 1, 2, 3 candles rejecting it. So once I saw this, I just wanted to see another significant push above EMA with a higher low around the EMA, which we never got. So we ended up having a break and we ended up having a new high once again. So we're only at the one winning trade that I had today. And like I said earlier, once the trend plays out, we can expect a consolidation, reversal, or continuation. Now here we have a nice range that formed. We have confirmations here, we have confirmations here as well as at the top. And as I mentioned before with my analogy, it's like a ping pong game where we're bouncing from the bottom, top, bottom, top. And let me make this longer so I could emphasize on how important it is not to trade in the middle of this range. What we're looking for is a break. So since we've been trending higher all day, we're looking for a break below the support that fails, right? And then we can start looking for a long position. But as you can see, we haven't broke below it. We haven't had a failed breakout, and we ended up pushing higher. And right now, the market closed for the day. So the only trade I had today was the one early in the morning, and these are the best ones. You catch it with momentum. We had a nice channel that needed a new high. I did stay on looking for another opportunity, but sometimes one is more than enough. And as I always say, quality over quantity. And that was the trade for the day. We've been trending higher and higher throughout this whole week. So it's almost like you wake up and you anticipate for a continuation. But I do not rely on previous price action. I rely on the pre-market and the current price action during the day. And that's how you should trade, right? Because sometimes the price action of the previous day can be completely bearish, and then the second day we can have a huge bull run. So don't let that affect your trading day or become part of your bias. Focus on what's in front of you. You got to respect the market, you got to follow the market and trade with it and not against it. Thank you guys for watching, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Take care.